We're back, and so are the Chiefs. It is time to get ready for the San Francisco 49ers. He's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. I know you missed us, well, at least for the last 24 hours, because you probably saw my Sunday night video, because I'm a little excited to get off the bye and get after it. Now, I know there's a Monday Night Football game going to go on here, and I know some people might want to watch that, so we're going to jump into the details on your show. This is Monday night. That means Q&A from you guys. You run the show. We just provide the answers. So I am very excited. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell. Check out our friends at Green Gridiron and get one of these helmets. You definitely want to get in the mix there. You definitely want to check out Bet US, where you can get 150 back up to 3 times on 2K each. Right now, we tell you more about them coming up. Hope you guys are excited. Been a long weekend, Dan. Are you feeling all right?
I'm doing okay. It's been a very long weekend. I had the in-laws over, and today it was my wife and I got back from a little distillery trip over the weekend on Sunday, and we got back this morning. And since we've got back, it has been work, cook, and now we have some more work. So I'm doing good. I mean, it's still a little jarring, but I'm doing all right. Glad to be here and glad to be talking Chiefs, because it's been like a week since I've done that. And just off the top, there are a few of you, I'm sure, they got a free preview to what we do here at the members section that was not supposed to have happened. And just so you guys are aware, I appreciate those of you that reached out and were like, hey, Dan, what's going on? You got something going over there that probably shouldn't be. And yeah, you're right. It should have been behind the wall. But congratulations for those of you that got the free preview. And I had a lot of fun remarks coming back saying that it was hilarious. Now, my dad even messaged me saying that I can't believe how much you were swearing in this. And yes, there's a lot. There's a lot of things that had to be said. So it was
fun. Folks, hope that you enjoy that. It is just a sneak preview. It was not intentional, but normally it's a family show, so don't be alarmed. Don't worry, we're not going to get into that tonight. But I always love it when one of those snafus happens, because it does give people an idea of, when you say you want to join the memberships because we will give you a rant about how we really feel. Both barrels. It is not a holdback situation. So as long as you like and sub, do that first. But if you want to join the memberships, you get all of that. You get my game notes. You get my inside information when I know something before it hits the public. You'll know that as well. And we try to lay it all out there for our members that really keep us going all year round, as well as you guys. So thank you very much. Thanks for doing what you do. And if you want any of the gear, we got the Rogue Nation stuff in the store and the whole 9 yards. It's all down below, as well as, I see. I like the Shield one. That's one of my favorites. Thank you for pointing that out. I also had a long weekend because I was seeing this guy. If I can get that overlay to come in, doesn't quite fit the screen, but that was it. My weekend was a lot of sessions at GABF. One of the highlights of the year for me. I have a ton coming on the other channel. If you guys like food or beer, wine, whiskey, whatever, that's our other channel. And that's RGR Craft. There's a link down below. Go check that out and get subbed, because we are spinning it back up in kind of a new direction. JBF is just the kickoff of it. The Great American Beer Fest was fun. The food part's going to be even better. And you've been asking to see Dan's work. You're going to see some of mine. When Dan gets a chance, he'll do some of his. No pressure. But you guys will dig it, because we're going to do a lot of cool stuff over there. So please go like and sub right now tonight to RGR Craft. It is going to change names here pretty soon. So I'll just give you, we're going to go CCF. It's going to be Craft and Cork Foodie will be the new name of that channel here coming up pretty soon, because we're going to expand. So it's going to be fun. Now, that said, while I was doing that, watching football, checking things out, NFL 33 has a new piece hitting tomorrow morning. So make sure you subscribe over there as well. We're going to get right into your questions. Every super chat gets an answer. We appreciate you guys, your attention, your memberships. If you want to help the channel out, you can always leave a super chat. We're going to jump right into it. Dan, if the Seahawks continue to lose, is it possible to trade for DK or even Ken Murray?
I wouldn't be looking at Kenneth Murray personally, because he doesn't help your coverage problem. He actually still isn't very good in coverage. It's more of a blitz that he's gotten better at. So no thanks on the Kenneth Murray part. And no, they're not going to trade DK Metcalf. It doesn't really compute. I think they're trying to figure some things out. Ryan Grubb is really starting to expand the lengths to which you can really just go from not throwing the football, not running play action, just doing drop back passing. They're experimenting, in my opinion. They're trying to find some things. And I don't believe that they're going to be selling this down. And I think that Geno is actually doing a lot for that offense. And they're going to get better with time as they figure out what works and they run the ball a little bit better. So, unfortunately, no, Franklin, I don't think that's a realistic possibility.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And on Grubb in particular, the best thing for the city of Seattle that happened was that Alabama came calling, because they ended up getting him to the Seahawks instead of in the college ranks. And I think that's going to pay off in spades down the line. So kudos to you, Seattleites. I went to high school there and I still miss the water. So just saying. Micah, nice to see you. Do you agree we need to stop having Tranquil guard the slot when they disguise the coverage pre-snap? I mean, it serves its purpose. I don't want to have him actually covering it, though. Like, disguising it as coverage works just fine because it's kind of a checkbox for the quarterback. So it still does its job. But yeah, like seeing him trail slot receivers does not make me happy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you do find matchups, right? That's the point of the NFL. The offenses are to create these matchups, and when the Chiefs bring 2 linebackers, sometimes 3 on the field, you're gonna get some matchups you like. Specifically with Leo Chanel and Drew Tranquil and even Nick Bolton in coverage, you're going to be able to find some things that work out for you. So as much as I would love to see them not do it, they don't really have a choice in that scenario because of how rules and functions of your defense work.
I agree. And you got to keep getting creative. Right now, they're just going to start to accelerate. They can just lay that as the groundwork and play off of it now. And I think that's going to help them going forward. Steve, thank you for the members' question. Nice to see you, buddy. Do you know the reason why the Chiefs haven't used any of their practice squad elevations yet this season? I wish I knew. Honestly, I think they've got a couple of things they're trying to play through, especially on the defensive front. There's another question coming up later that will directly approach that. But in terms of like the receivers and things, I don't think that's really – they don't feel the impetus to do that. I think they feel like there's enough questions that they want to get guys into a rhythm. I know folks are screaming about Sky versus Nico versus Justin Ross. Yes, there is a possibility for an elevation there, but you would have to cut Sky first. And they seem, for whatever their reason is, very, very reluctant to do that. So I think that's part of the reason we're not seeing it, Dan. Do you see something else?
I think that they just want to have everyone that's on the roster focused on getting their parts right. Adding more to that can sometimes throw a wrench in the barrel. Look at last year and Andy Reid with 7 receivers. It didn't go the way that they wanted it to. And I think that right now they're trying to get everybody on the same page before they start adding new additions to it. I think you would agree the Chiefs are not playing the best football right now. Defensively, okay, they're playing some really good ball. They're still having some troubles with coverage and linebacker coverage. They're trying to figure some of those things out there. So they want to get everyone else on the same page first before they start bringing new bodies into it. That's just my opinion.
I'm totally with you. I'm going to let you take this one because I don't think I know this person.
All right. Anthony, is Boise State Ashton Jeanty all him, the offensive line, or the defenses? So Ashton Jeanty is a legitimately extremely talented running back. I think that you guys are going to see later in the week when TDN drops their refurbished top 100 that we all have been working on the past couple of weeks, where we have him in the ranks, and you might be a little surprised as to how high he is because, yes, he is that talented. Now, Boise State's offensive line, I think, is pretty good. It's a little underrated. They're playing some poor defenses as well. It's all three. I think a lot of it is Ashton being that talented, but you also have a little bit of here and there where, oh, that guy didn't tackle very well. Hey, great hole by the offensive line, just like any running back. But if we're talking about what he's specifically doing, yes, he is separating himself among the running backs in this class because of how talented he is.
I'm glad to know it. I have not seen him yet. So, Anthony, great question. Dan, thank you for providing the expertise. I watched the Niners versus Cardinals, and Kyler was having success running read options like the Chiefs did back in the Super Bowl in the 23 regular season. Why does it work so well for them? In my opinion, then it was eye discipline. Other than Fred, I think you could get players to commit to what they saw. And Patrick's pretty good at pulling that ball out late and attacking where they're not. The only caveat is Fred. He's pretty crafty with the instinct there. And I'm not sure that's why the Chiefs have gone away with it, but they aren't running near as much as they used to. So do you see a reason for it?
So, from really the question, I think for what I'm trying to understand here is that why does it work so well versus the 49ers, right? That's partly because they are, like Ryan said, so aggressive. The defensive ends are extremely keen on trying to crash down as hard as they can. And the base operation of a read option is, hey, we're going to not block you and I'm going to see what you do. And if you crash down, hey, guess what? That ball's coming out and I'm going to run with that way. Like that's just the base operation of the read option, right? So the reason it works so well is especially because what most teams want to do, they want to isolate Nick Bosa. For everything, how great he is, he can be a little bit of loose cannon. He could be a little all over the place. He could be, I want to go get that running back. I'm going to go get the running back. Okay, fine. You want to go get the running back? I'm going to pull the football. When you isolate a guy like that, who's extremely talented, extremely athletic, you get him thinking a little bit. And then he has to make a decision. And usually that decision is I'm going to go after the running back because you've been handing the ball off, especially against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes doesn't pull that football ever. Oh, I'm going to keep handing off. I'm going to keep handing off. I'm going to keep handing off. Oh, wait. I'm going to go ahead and take it this time. Now against the Cardinals, I don't know. I really don't know unless he just doesn't care. That's the only thing that I can understand because Kyler Murray is going to run the football. He's going to run the football a lot. And if you just let him do it, he's going to continue to do it. So I would imagine it's got something to do with him being a little bit less disciplined against the read option or against his keys when he's unblocked. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I like that concept.
I cannot hear you.
I think there are ways. You cannot hear me? Okay.
I don't know. Can anybody else hear him? Maybe it's me. I don't know. Can anybody else hear Ryan? Let's hear in the chat. We got to see if it's Ryan's mic.
I am unmuted.
My headphones.
1, 2, 3. I can hear myself, but you know what it is. Okay.
Nobody's
Somebody say something.
We can hear him. I hear him. All right.
Okay, good. Okay.
All right. I'll be all right back.
Okay. Well, then I won't ask Dan anything. So that's the way that'll go. Thank you, guys. Usually it's me that has some kind of technical difficulty. The other thing I was going to say is that when you get an excellent player like that to start thinking, it slows them down. So that is a big plus as well. It's just like when they're rookies and you're trying to get them to think fast, play fast. Same thing. If you can slow an elite player down, you're winning. Chad, which LT will start against the Niners, and do you think they will switch depending on who the team is they're playing? I don't think they will the second half of that. I don't think Andy wants to switch it up. I think he's trying to make a consistent decision and get the guy into a rhythm, whoever it is, with Joe Thuney. Now, I personally want to go back to the more athletic player in Kingsley Suamataia, but I don't think the Chiefs will. I think Andy want to probably stay with Wanye with a little bit more experience to try to get that going. Now, I would like to see it the opposite, but I don't think it's set in stone. If we find out tomorrow or Wednesday that they start practicing with a split or they start practicing with Kingsley in there, you might see that. Can you hear me now, Daniel?
I can. We're good to go. I don't know what happened, but we're good.
Okay, rock and roll. Okay, well, that's great. I'm glad to hear it. Folks, I'm really excited and want to give you guys the upper hand. The folks that help us, we'd love it if you could help them out as well. And right now, it is BetUS that is doing the deal. Use the code YouTube150 and you can start playing right now today. They do a heck of a job. And right now, the Chiefs are kind of at the forefront. I'm going to share this here real quick just to take a look at what you get on BetUS, because I think you guys will enjoy it. And it certainly makes it a little bit more fun to play when you are in the hunt for getting your money into a rig here. And if I take a look at week 7 and get down here into where the Chiefs are at right now, these are the odds. The over is what? 147 at -110, under 47. I find that really interesting because I don't usually go with the like total points in a ball game, but it's a really interesting way to see like if it turns into a battle on the offense or the defensive side, that could be a huge game turner. You can get in on everything from the point spread to the total points. Those are the two that I'm looking at today. You can get it all live every time you go to BetUS. They're helping us out, and they're giving you a heck of a deal right here with that code, YouTube150. 150. You can get it there today and check out BetUS. Our pals and sponsors that are going to the mat for us always helps us get there. Oh, and it helps like when I come back to the actual view. That's always a fun time too. Hey, there we go. So that said, there's a lot that you can find and have a good time if you're looking to get into the betting side. Thank you for your thought before, Chad, and Minotaur has one as well. Are we running a running football team now with Pacheco is back? Is he going to dominate with Hunt? And our defense, will it be elite? I mean, I would love to see them be a run-first team because I think it makes the play action that much more formidable. But it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy's West Coast. It can never be that, can it, Dan?
I'm going to give them a real dose of reality because Wednesday we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes' first quarter-ish of the season. We're going to talk about, well, you don't have your first couple of weapons that you wanted to have. And guess what you might have to do more of that you didn't think you had to? Run the football. We're going to do a Patrick Mahomes review, go through all of his picks, the incompletions, the struggles, talk about a lot of the things that he's had to deal with this season already. And yeah, they might have to be a little bit more of a run team. You guys watched the Detroit Lions absolutely drub the Cowboys, right? You saw that happen. You want to know why that happened? Because there is a legitimate commitment to running the football at teams, just at them. Doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes had his first 300-plus yard performance against the Saints last 2 weeks ago. You want to know why that was? I don't know. Because defenses are just taking away some of the deep shots, right? They're just saying we're going to put a roof off. So what does that do? Well, it limits the amount of space downfield. But what does it also do? It allows you to run the football. And it creates more space when you run play action. If you have two safeties back deep and you run play action, well, where do those linebackers go? They're going to go with the play action, or they're going to go with the running back out of the backfield, or tight end. It's going to open the middle of the field, okay? A lot of concepts. You guys watched the play action video I just did last week on Wednesday. It showed you how open everything was. Everything was open. So yes, they might actually have to commit to running the football a little bit more than maybe Andy and Patrick want to, but it will be a benefit in the long run.
And I am so here for it. I appreciate that. Doug, love that shiny nice Chiefs helmet right behind you. Where did you get it again? Okay. This guy?
Yeah.
This guy is from our friends at Green Gridiron. You can find the link in the description right now, but I'll put it on the screen too. Because they do a heck of a job. You just go over there and check it out. These things are pre-built. You don't even have to customize it. They have it all with the gold, the Mahomes shield. It's the Oakley with the whole 9 yards. Like you can buy this kit and caboodle right there, and the link will take you there. Now these are high-end collectibles. This one is actually an on-field model. They also have the minis that are super cool to hang out with and put on a mantle or something like that. I actually hang my Christmas stockings from the little mini helmets, so that's always fun. So you can check those out as well. It's at Green Gridiron. They are super cool people. They'll even do customs for us. We're working on one for RGRs. So you'll be able to see that coming up soon as well. So thanks for asking, Doug, and check that out. If you guys have any need any further feedback or anything like that, just let me know, and I am happy to let you know where to get that stuff. Appreciate it. Ryan, with your sports med experience, do you think Hollywood can return in the playoffs or the Super Bowl? And I will tell you this, Micah, it is unfortunate that they took a couple extra weeks to put him into surgery to get that corrected. Sometimes you just got to let that start to come together before you realize whether it's healing correctly or not. But I do feel that he will be able to be running, and that's about pain tolerance, obviously, because you're not putting pressure on the limb. I think he will be running by the end of the regular season. I think he will be in position to start catching balls. How that goes and how his extended hands feel, that's going to be the determining factor. I feel like he is a possibility to play in the playoffs. That's truly how I feel, and I think the team's working towards that. But I can't say that with any certainty. I haven't seen him. I don't know anybody doing the rehab work with him or the repair itself. So it is just my outside opinion from what I've seen in the past. You can't take it too seriously because I don't know the details, but that's where I'm at. I got my fingers crossed, though, buddy. And thank you. We enjoy this. Micah in Denver, and I always forget Micah's in Denver as well. We're going to do something here in town, hopefully in November, at some viewing venue, we'll call it. There's a place in Denver that I think will help us out. I'm trying to sell them. I'm making it a Chiefs homestead, but so if you
There we
happen to be in
go.
the Denver area, just keep an eye out. I'll let you know here pretty soon. Chad, thank you. Do you think Cam Thomas will get in the game against the 49ers, Dan?
No, I don't. And it's nothing against Cam Thomas, but the Chiefs have a real big, like, bad track record of trading for players the last 2 years and then just not playing them. They just don't care. Like, it's like they thought maybe there'd be something there. They get him in town. It's like, oh no, there's nothing here. That's how it feels.
I hope not, because I think he's got a ton of potential. I really just don't understand it. So I got my fingers crossed. And Chad had another one. Do you think that the Chiefs will carry 4 running backs, or will someone be cut to back off on the reps?
Huh. I do think that they want to carry 4 running backs, considering injuries. It would be ideal to have some guys to be able to play out there whenever you want to. So yeah, I do think they're going to keep 4, and that will allow everyone to hopefully stay healthy. And when Pacheco comes back, you'll have 4 guys in the stable, and then you can use Carson Steele in whichever way you want to, because we know he's not actually a running a fullback, but you can still use him that way.
Yeah, he's got capabilities. Thank you, Chad. And thank you, Steve. How will Roland Wallace and Hicks fit into the defense after the bye?
Well, hopefully they get some playing time. I'd love to see the difference here with Roland Wallace is the fact that you already have Chamari Connor playing such a huge, valuable role for your defense. Teams have not really had legitimate, quick slot receivers to take advantage of him. They really haven't been able to do so. You saw him get matched up with Darnell Mooney one time, and he got beat because of it, a couple times against Ray McLeod. But at the end of the day, he's been going up against big players, which is how they want to use him. If you start to see teams come out there with quick twitch slot receivers, and he's having to be out there against those players more often, you might see Roland Wallace come in there a little bit. And Hicks just needs to start playing more. Like, if you maybe start to see him coming out with Drew Tranquil coming off the field, that's how I would personally like to start seeing him used after the bye, just in sprinkles, so we can start getting used to playing like that.
Yeah, I like that concept as well. However you sprinkle them in, it's a long season, and knock on wood, should be a very, very long postseason. So there's time. Thanks, Steve. And thank you, Minotaur. And thank you to everyone out there. A bunch of you right now have free memberships thanks to Minotaur, because he's giving them away. Welcome to Rogue Nation is what we say. The main membership is here in the chat. You get all the icons, and you get the star, and you get the recognition. If you want to upgrade, you go up to the rookies and you get all the extras. You get content, you get the members discount, you get a number of things there. So make sure that you upgrade to rookie level or above, and you can get into all of that. But thanks to Minotaur for putting that out. And thanks for Doug for signing back up. Appreciate you, buddy. Getting the action. I love seeing that. Uh-oh. Problem?
I made a mistake.
Ruh-roh. There's a song about that. Gary, do you guys feel the Chiefs should trade for... Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, Gary, if we have a moderator in here, can somebody get Gary back, please? Because, Gary is a moderator. And unfortunately, I was trying to get rid of somebody that shouldn't be in here. And I don't know how it clicked on Gary, but Gary's no longer with us. So can someone please help us out? That's my fault.
Well, let me see if I can do anything. You want to take Gary's question?
I will. Well, I want him to be back so we can actually answer the question with him on the screen, because he's not currently here due to me. So I'd love to, but I want to get him back. I'll take the next. Can you put the next one up, since I'm still not caught up? I'm having a bad day, guys. I'm having a bad night.
No, you are all right. Gary, we'll get you sorted out.
My goodness gracious. Sorry, Gary. I feel terrible. Christo, thank you for the question. Hopefully you don't get banned in the process, because I'm not trying to be rude here. We're just trying to answer questions. Can we talk about how good Jalen Watson has been? Yes, we can. Jalen Watson has entered the next step territory. He's taken the next step. He is among one of the top 5-6 DBs in the NFL when targeted. He does not allow completions. He's very good. He's in the range. He's getting where the football is. He knows exactly where he's going. And I love watching him play right now. He looks confident. He looks like he knows exactly what he needs to be. And he's taking that next step where you see guys like Josh Williams fall off and not know where they're supposed to be. So he's been fantastic. We really couldn't have anticipated someone taking a step like this in training camp because one, Jalen Watson was hurt and no one else had really done it to that point. So yeah, he's been fantastic and really what you want as a cornerback too, opposite of Trent McDuffie. All right.
I'll roll you the next one while I'm trying to work on Gary.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, yes, exactly. Christo, Snead has not been very good this year. I wonder if there was more to the knee injury than everyone else thought there was, because the Chiefs were pretty okay getting a third round pick back for L'Jarius Sneed, and it hasn't worked out so well for the Titans. Maybe he'll feel better later in the season, but right now he got picked on last week, and the Colts were just going after him all day, which was interesting to see. I'm shocked, or maybe I don't know. Maybe he's just really good in Steve Spagnuolo's system, which shocking. I understand, right? Sometimes you have some real good fits, and it feels like Snead was a fit here and not so much in Tennessee.
I agree.
I'm
I
so
am still
sorry.
having a problem, so I'm just going to let you take that.
I'm so sorry, Gary. Gonna have to get you something when we get back here because this is terrible. Doug, Turk's been balling out this season so far. LFG. Let's go, baby. He's having not just a breakout year, but he's having exactly the kind of year we thought he could have after his rookie season. Then he got injured and some things just didn't work out for him. So yes, he's having a fantastic year. He's using the pass rush tools that he already had as a defensive end, and he's gotten so much better from a run stopping perspective, stacking, shedding, finding that football, and then getting after it in the run game. So yeah, he's been fantastic, and it definitely needs to be talked about more because he's among some of these great, I think, duos with him and Chris Jones in the NFL when he continues to play at this level. Oh my goodness gracious, we're still having troubles. How do we get him back? How do we get him back?
I'm gonna get there. I'm trying to fix it. You just keep rolling.
Oh, once we get to Chris Fry's question, I'll be caught up, and then you can handle it. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that.
Okay. Cool.
Quinn, appreciate the question. Who do you think we trade for a wide receiver? I know a move is coming. I'm hoping Cooper, but my guess is DeMarcus Robinson or a Slayton type move. That has typically been the Chiefs' MO. I do think they are going to be looking for a splashier play because this year it is the three-peat season. And also, now that we have the Rashee Rice injury update, which I didn't realize was going to be a thing today because I've been busy as hell, but it's not as quick of a recovery as once was reported. It's not looking all that great right now for him to be fully healthy when the season rolls around next year. So they are going to have somebody in-house to be able to help out. I do think they're going to be looking to make a splash for Cooper because let's be honest. If you guys listened to Cleveland's head coach recently, he is being absolutely pressured by the front office to play Deshaun Watson no matter what. You guys, it's not good. And if you guys want to hear my thoughts on Deshaun Watson and the whole situation, make sure you check out the members rant because it is all in there about how I feel about Deshaun Watson. And they don't care about winning football games. They care about playing a guy that they made a ridiculous amount of money guaranteed to. So yes, I think they should go and get Amari Cooper, save him from this awful organization and terrible decision that they made to give him that money and allow Amari Cooper to play for an organization that is winning and is going for a three-peat. Because I guarantee you, he might want a ring, and he doesn't have one yet.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm going to throw Chris up here, and then I'm going to step out for a second.
All right. I am so sorry, Gary. I feel terrible. I'll take over here real quick. All right. Chris, now that I'm in control, I can take care of this, and hopefully Ryan can get Gary back. Maybe. He pulled up a question of Gary's. Nope. Never mind. He's taking stuff away. Ryan's having fun behind the scenes right now. Let's be very honest about that. Since this is bye week, what are some college players that Casey may be drafting next year? So there's going to be a couple of spots. I think you could look at defensive tackle. Still, they're still going to need some depth there. There is a player from Clemson. Let me pull it up real quick. I forgot his first name. Demonte Capehart. This is a guy that is going to be very good, in my opinion. I think he's going to end up being a first-round pick, but he's an elite run stopper already. Like, he's a legitimate, you plug him and you play him right now in the NFL, he'll be successful. And he's got pass rush upside, good lateral agility, got that power in his arms to be able to extend and shed, things like that. I think he's going to be a first-round pick, specifically at the end of the first round. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is a legitimate chance that running back at the end of the first round happens once again. Now, you don't want to hear it. I understand. I don't like it much either. But this running back class, not only is it stacked with real talent, like real talent, everywhere else, we're all kind of waiting. We're all kind of waiting for some players to get in here and get out of here and start to actually produce. There's a lot of whispers around people that have been watching this season and scouts and things like that, that the talent pool isn't as heavy in the first round. So you find players you like, you draft them. That's something the Chiefs have done over the past couple of years at the end of the first round. No shock. You got Felix Anudike-Uzomah, CEH. You also have George Karlaftis. Some of these guys at the end of the first round they've been taking and trying to get production out of. So it would not shock me if a running back was drafted. Also wouldn't shock me if the Chiefs were like, we can't do this with Jawaan Taylor anymore. And we think that we have a good swing tackle in Wanya Morris, and we might want to get someone at the end of the first round to play right tackle. Maybe they do that. But they have quite a bit of money invested in Jawaan Taylor, so we'll see on that. But just a couple of positions, specific players, I'm not entirely sure on. Like I said, Demonte Capehart is interesting. I think he's a good player. But now that you've got Jalen Watson playing at the level that he's playing, I think it's going to be difficult to go and say they should be drafting a corner. Linebacker is also a possibility, depending on how it continues out here. So Lander Barton out of Utah is a player that has a lot of upside in terms of being what Nick Bolton is for this offense, or this defense, excuse me, being that type of mentally engaged player, but also has more upside as a pass defender. So he's someone as well. It's murky right now, to be very honest with you. Like, it's murky. So there's a lot of different possibilities that are going to end up with this draft. So we just got to wait and see how the rest of it plays out, Chris. Info, thank you for being here. And I'm going to try my best not to ban you, and do what we can here to not ban our members and our great people. Is every time that I say something, I'm gonna bring it up because I feel awful. Regarding contracts of players cut, how many years is Hunt under contract with us now? Just this year? What about Ariza, who was on a rookie contract with cut? So if you are cut, your contract is null and void. So Matt Ariza's contract with the Kansas City Chiefs is a new one. Let me pull up his actual contract right here. Yeah. So, if I could find it really easily, that'd be great. But I don't see an actual number there. Matt, no, that's Trevor Ariza. Stop giving me weird things that make no sense. I even looked up Matt Ariza contract, not Trevor Ariza. I will find it for you here in a second. But for Kareem Hunt, he's just signed for this year. He was just brought on for the year. And so it looks like we have a 1-year contract on Matt Ariza as well. So both players are here for a season. And my feeling is that Matt Ariza will get extended. He's been very good this season. And I expect, as a young player that he is, he'll get an extension from the Kansas City Chiefs plus punters aren't that expensive and things like that. So both are just here for a year. And so when they're cut, their contracts become null and void from that team. They don't carry over, if that makes any sense to you for you. I will save that one for Ryan because he's not in here. Doug, someday I hope we see my guy Jaden Hicks. Please, yeah, he's gonna play. Don't worry, he's gonna play. He'll play more. He was playing a little bit before, but before the bye. I think he'll play more as it gets going. But he's definitely gonna get more involved. I can guarantee that, Doug, for sure. Daniel Longstaff, thank you for the question. Ryan, Dan, got to ask about receiver trades. I'm high on Dobbs because the Packers can't pay for all the receivers they have. What say you? My counter to this is outside of Jaden Reed, who there demands money? Nobody. I don't think anybody demands to be paid high value. And I mean, Romeo Dobbs is fine as a possession deep, go get the football player. He's not a zone beater. He's not a man beater. He's just kind of there. And in my opinion, I think that he's got upside. I liked him out of Nevada. I thought he was a better player than maybe others did. I didn't think he'd be as elite in the NFL. I think he's played it better than I expected him to. But in this offense in Kansas City, does Romeo Dobbs fit? My answer is no. So I don't think that there's anybody there that does outside of Jaden Reed, and he's their best receiver. So I get where you're going, but Dobbs does not seem to me to fit what the Chiefs look for in wide receiver traits, and specifically what wide receivers fit in this offensive specifically, because you got to know exactly where you're supposed to be on every single play, and you have to be able to, adjust with the quarterback and be where the quarterback wants you to be. So I'm a little more skeptical about some of these Green Bay receivers in Kansas City. And I expect them to go after Amari Cooper myself, but we'll see. We shall see. I appreciate the question. Luis, they should put Sky Moore on the practice squad and elevate Nico Remigio to 53. They're not going to do that. It's whatever is happening. For Ryan and I are both flabbergasted a little bit. They're continuing to have Sky Moore on the roster. They believe in him, and they still see them to have value there. I like to see Nico on the roster, though, for sure. That would definitely be something I'm interested in seeing as the season goes along, specifically this week out of the bye. That would be a great thing to see. So I'm with you, at least on that part. Kev, Christian Kirk or Deontay, what's your pick? I would take Deontay Johnson myself and be very happy if you could get him in Kansas City, because he does fit what Marquise Brown was supposed to be in Kansas City. We'll see if he comes back at any point, but I think he's got that ability to still use his speed to stretch the field, but also be a guy underneath that finds those soft spots and zones and can maximize what you're creating with now the run game and Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce. So I would take Deontay Johnson over Christian Kirk myself. Ruthless, thank you for the 5. I appreciate the question and the super chat as always. Hey guys, what are your thoughts on my Nittany Lions, and would you draft any of them? So I'm trying to figure out what the Nittany Lions are. Like, there's a lot of talent with Drew Aller, and I'm trying to figure out how good he can be, because a lot of his problems are still making some really bad decisions. He makes some awful, awful decisions. And yeah, please, Gary, if you're in here, come on and let us know. We're trying to find out. I don't know what happened, and I'm very, very sorry. It was an accident. But the Nittany Lions, draft Evan, sure. Nicholas Singleton, I would be all for that. Absolutely. There's a couple of other players. They're not going to be able to draft Abdul Carter. He's going to go too high. In my personal opinion, he's just got too much talent. All right, cool. Gary is back. Ryan, if you can hear me, Gary's back. I am so sorry, Gary. Thank you. Whew, we got him. Ryan is doing something back there, but appreciate it. He'll just need to be made a mod again, which I'm sure we can do.
I believe that's in, Gary. Apologies. It took me a while, but I got it sorted,
All
I
right.
think.
I'm so sorry, Gary. I feel terrible.
Oh, there are worse things. No one was hurt in the making of this live stream. Gary, sincere apologies, but
Yes.
we appreciate you. So we're gonna just let you take over the show now, Gary. We're gonna have to put you on camera eventually, so you can make fun of Dan at
Eventually.
this point.
It's just what happens. Like I'm having a technology problem the last couple of days with the member stream going live on my watch and this now. It's been a yeah, it's been a
It's
rough
a
week,
challenge.
guys. I appreciate y'all for dealing with me and being here. I'm just trying to fight through. Penn State tight end. The name Tyler Warren. Yes, come to Kansas City. I know he's I think he's a 5th-year senior at this point, but what he's doing right now is legitimately good. He's playing all over the place. You guys saw him snap a football last against USC and then go catch a touchdown after he snapped it. He's legitimately good. I would love to see him in Kansas City. Very versatile player that you can maximize. We talked about Nicholas Singleton. Yeah, he would be another player as well. There's some players on the defense to be, I don't know, and the names right now are escaping me. There's a ton of them in my head. So just off the top, Ruthless, yes, I think the Nittany Lions are good. I don't think that they're great. We will find out when they play Ohio State in 2 weeks.
Okay, what were you saving for me? Let's backtrack that, and then we'll get back to
This
the
one.
currents. Oh, Cody, got to hang out with our mutual friend Ross Jackson. Sweet before the G. That's awesome. It's his first time. I know. It's one city that you haven't been to that you wanted. Cody, I hope that you had a blast. Ross is good people. I end up hanging out with him a lot when we're away and we're on locations and stuff. Good dude, and very, very true about his Saints fandom. One stadium that I haven't been to that I want to go to. Honestly, it might be this next game because I have not been in this stadium the Niners play in now. I want to hit all the AFC West because, correct me if I'm wrong, I've only been in half of them. I have not been in SoFi and I haven't been in Allegiant for Vegas. So like there's those 3 as well. But I've been in several of them. Those are probably the top 3 for me. They're all on the West Coast. I don't know what that means, but it is what it is. And I'm glad you got to spend time with Ross. He's a good dude.
What's up, sweetie?
Okay. Bro Cephas. OT, bigger trade priority than wide receiver. Cam Robinson might be available. And Avery would say, always go with the lineman and protect your quarterback. Right, lady? Hi. That's perfectly timed, too. She's got a great comic timing, Daniel. I can't say that at this point. I do believe that she's been comfortable being functionally solid, if not excellent, at a position, especially on the offensive line. So I think that they can pull it off. I do feel that eventually one of those guys, if not both of those guys, is going to have enough upside that you feel comfortable. I do now. I would like to see Kingsley go back in at left tackle. And I would like to see Wanye like move over a little bit. I feel like the upside is still bigger with Kingsley. And I do feel like Wanye should be comfortable at right tackle later. But acquiring Cam Robinson, I don't think is much more than going out and getting Donovan again. And Donovan would be cheaper. So I would definitely go that direction if I had the choice. Dan, would you do something different?
Yeah, I don't think that you realistically should be trading for a tackle when you have money invested in Jawaan Taylor and you just drafted one. And again, someone you were trying to get a little bit earlier than you did. Cam Robinson got benched or he's hurt. I can't remember exactly. He's not been playing very well. So if you're trying to get some depth, I think you just need to be looking in other places for that depth, cheaper depth. Wide receiver is a need. It really is, because offensive tackle, they've gotten by with not great tackle play over the past couple of seasons. I know it's not what you want to do, but you know you can manage it. And I think right now running the football helps them play better. And I had that. Well, we saw a couple of comments talking about how they shouldn't be able. They can't run the football. They can't lean on it because of tackles. running the football helps your offensive line in pass protection. It gives them time because when you do play action, guess who has to think? Everybody. Defense can't just tee off on your quarterback. They have to respect the play action fake. If they don't, you're going to hand it off and you're going to run for 15 yards on them. And then we can't do that. So they have to respect it more. And it gives your tackles a bit more time to be able to settle in and get to their spots. So that's why you run play action. Honestly, it's why you do it.
And it's effective, with or without. It's what makes it go round. So thanks, Rosifus. Appreciate the support. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you.
And I know Werewolf was getting towards the same thing there. How bad would it look if they bench Taylor, and should they? It would look bad. In terms of, like, I was just looking at win rate for offensive tackles. He's clearly the best the Chiefs have, and he's 12th in the league per ESPN's advanced win rate stat. And ESPN spends more time looking at assignments than PFF does. So I think you can put a little bit more weight into that. He's top 12. Yes, he's going to have the penalties. He's going to hold from time to time because he's going to overset one direction. He's going to get countered. He's going to jump off sides, and it may be an inopportune moment. But he's solid. If they did bench him, I would want to see Wanye go over there, but I don't think they should. Dan, do you disagree?
I agree. I don't disagree at all. I think that Jawaan Taylor is really playing good football. We've talked about it from time to time. Outside of the penalties, which it's hard to overlook, he's been very good this year, like much better than last year. So last week he had a bit of a blip against the Saints, but outside of that one football game, he's been clearly, I think, the best offensive lineman in Kansas City. I think even Creed has been a little up and down this year. So, like, that's going to get figured out. It's going to get solved. But, I mean, it's hard to say he's going to get benched at this point right now because he's been playing very well outside of the penalties.
Yeah, and like I said, there will be some that are badly timed. And if something were to cost a game, then you might see that. But otherwise, I doubt it. Welcome back. The originator of the Rogue Head Huddle, and our guy Stevie Keys, who runs the Discord. He's over in Rogue Nation. If you guys are in the Discord, make sure you say hi to Stevie. And Stevie's giving away a membership as well. Nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing great. Everybody, thanks Stevie for if you got that one or got one of them because they're out there. And he also threw in a super chat. Thanks, bud.
Appreciate you, man.
31-32 personnel with Pacheco, Steele, Hunt. Who says no? You're not going to get a no out of me. That's for damn sure. I am totally here for that. Let's just fill the backfield as much as we can. Dan?
Get a little bit of like CEH in the 31 so you can actually run some routes. Because I think you could put Kareem Hunt and CEH out there as slot receivers, and then you're starting to play with gas a little bit with Pacheco back there. You hand off. I mean, that's a lot of fun. I'll be very honest.
Yeah, you'll get no argument from me at all, Stevie. And it's nice to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Notorious Melanin, GP. Now, if and when Patrick does a series of great things against the Niners, I want you to be just as zealous in pointing that out. We already have enough of the NFL hating on Pat. Fair enough. Fair enough. If he goes overboard, I will definitely shout it out. Hell, I might even go find, I'm sure I have a Mahomes jersey around here. It usually fits a kid, but I'll wear it on my head or something like that. Because, yes, we have to praise him as much as we hold him to his expectations. Thank you for pointing it out, Notorious. I do appreciate that. I probably have been worse this season than any, about pointing out when he does do super cool things because he is who he is.
It's natural, right? It's natural to kind of come to his defense. He's been so great for so long, and to be very honest, he hasn't been very great this year. That's okay, though. It's okay. Like, he's been fantastic all of his career. And even now, he's still making fantastic plays every week. But he has been part of the problem, too. So I think that there's always that comfortable middle where we're always going to praise him. Like, that's what it is right now in Kansas City. Like, he is the guy. He's one of the most famous people in the world. He's the best player in football. He's won 3 championships in Kansas City. Like, there's so many accolades that sometimes it can get not just into people's heads, to his own. I can do no wrong. Sometimes I would imagine that there are some times that he's just like, I can make this throw when he doesn't have to. I don't need to make this or do this. It's sometimes. So yeah, it's you always got to have that happy medium. You have to be able to point out specifically in what we do. What we do for you guys is we try to teach. If I'm going to sit up here and talk to you about how great Patrick Mahomes is every single week, that's disingenuous, right? It just is. So yes, I agree with you, Notorious, where we have to be able to do this and that. So if Patrick goes out there and lights up the 49ers, I will be the first to tell you guys on the live stream that night. Yep. There's a vintage Pat Mahomes game. There it is.
There we go. And Notorious, thank you for the super chat as well. Didn't need to, but I'm totally understand.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we have to celebrate the greatness. That's if you're sci-fi readers, there's a book called Expeditionary Force. It's a whole series. There's a line in there and it says, just trust the awesomeness. And that's what we're gonna have to do with Patrick. And I gotta remember that myself a little bit every
I do.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
For sure.
And thank you, Jerry. It's nice to see you, bud. Are there big swings available other than Cooper? You never know who's all available for trade until you start asking around. There are a couple out there that could be surprises, but I would say the other one that we know is being approachable is Deontay Johnson. I don't know that I would consider him a big swing. What would you think?
He's a Hollywood Brown type of addition to this team. I kind of talked about that earlier with the question. I think that he's going to bring that. While he does have that speed, he's going to be best in the middle of the field, exploiting what Xavier Worthy is going to bring to you, what Travis Kelce already brings, finding that space. I think that would be great for him, and that's why I would really like to see him too. I'm a big Deontay Johnson fan. The other quote unquote big stretch or big one is because money wise it would be big, not because he's a big player, is Christian Kirk. He's going to bring a big price tag. That one's unrealistic to me because of the number. He's too expensive. And same goes with Davante Adams, not only because it would be impossible for the Las Vegas Raiders to trade him to the Kansas City Chiefs. It would make no sense for them. But monetarily speaking, they don't have money to do it right now. They can move some things around. I think the Chiefs want to do this without having to move much money around personally, because it would be less complicated for them to do. And that's why we pointed out Amari Cooper, because he's basically free for an NFL team at this point in terms of money.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And just to double down on the whole Adams thing, as bad as Raiders fans hate Chiefs fans, because Raiders fans seem to hate everyone, their owner hates Clark Hunt more than the fans do. Like, he will never help Clark Hunt. Just the juxtaposition of where they are right now, that Mark can barely keep that franchise afloat and Clark is leading the international market and finance committee. Those are two flips of a league that Al actually helped found. So I don't think there's any shape or form that would ever help the Chiefs coming from Mark or that organization.
With you.
Des, nice to see you, pal. Is the issue in the red zone play calling? Partially. I can't say it's the majority, though. I still feel like execution is a bigger deal and that Andy compensates for that by trying to get too tricky. Dan, break it down. Is it more than that?
The fact that they have had to multiple times this year resort to trick plays to score does frustrate me. And whether they don't believe they can just line up and run the football and then run play action in the red zone, there is an extension of Andy Reid calling trick plays in the red zone outside of just they like to call trick plays in the red zone. It's an execution problem. The team does not execute very well. There's also penalties. So they have to be able to just run their plays. But when you don't have as much space to work with for a team right now that is kind of transitioning to this running a little bit more, maybe more play action, they're trying to find the comfort in less space available to you, right? And a lot of teams can't just line up and run a real, just a real pass play in the red zone because it doesn't work. Team defense will just be like, fine, go ahead. Like, we don't care. Or you have to have a player that can just flat out win. Chiefs don't throw jump balls. It makes it difficult for them to do that when teams are already really good at executing defensively with limited space, how to take that away. And when you can't run the football and score touchdowns consistently in the red zone and then run that play action off of it. So there's a lot going on.
Double down on running the ball. Run the damn ball. If you can get 2 yards of carry, you can win in the red zone and in short yardage. I think they're closer than they have been in several years because of Kareem Hunt and Carson Steele. Nothing against Pacheco, but he's not as good a short yardage runner as those two guys are. So I think there's an opportunity here to take a step forward if Andy will just call it and make them do it. It's eating your vegetables. You know what I mean? You just got to run block. Just get after it and get it done. Thank you, Des. Appreciate you as always, buddy. And thank you, Faithful. Do they have enough weapons for what Mahomes likes to do? It seems like he wants a high-powered offense. You're absolutely right. He wants a high-powered offense. And no, they do not have enough weapons. If everything had gone to plan and you had Rashee Rice and Hollywood, I would say you probably did have enough weapons. But that is not the way that it's gone. And they are scrambling. And that's why they are still out there looking for further options. And a report that I got tonight is that there are familiar guys that they are looking at as well, including the form of D-Rob. And that is a fallback. We're going to answer this next question here really quick. But D-Rob is a fallback because he knows the offense. And Andy said specifically today, an offensive guy that's been in my system, or at least the West Coast, has the advantage, but it isn't a necessity. He kept qualifying things. But he kind of gave away his hand because you can tell he wants somebody that understands the West Coast offense. If you haven't played in it before, it's a little bit more of a challenge, certainly for him and Patrick. But Faithful, thank you for your comment and for the support. But in getting to Addicted's question here, what would you trust more, elevating Ross or trading for Amari? That is the exceptions to me, because Amari Cooper is a professional, has learned multiple offenses. He understands the game in the little details. And I trust him to be able to come in and contribute to the offense more than I trust Justin Ross to line up correctly or not need help or be able to attack the ball where he needs to when it's not a jump ball, because that is what he's naturally good at. And that's where I sit, and maybe it's my prejudice against guys that can't run routes and can't adapt to the West Coast. But when you're single-threaded in your skill set, it makes it hard to trust that you can come in and effectively change the ball.
So when we're looking at Amari Cooper, like Ryan talked about, trust factor is huge. Amari has played for the, at the time, Oakland Raiders with Derek Carr. Then he was traded to the Dallas Cowboys, where he played with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a very trust it, throw it quarterback. He can execute any type of offensive system, and Kellen Moore's offense is also based a lot on timing. Guess what's also based a lot on timing? The Chiefs' offense. This would make a lot of sense from a lot of different angles, because not only, like we talked about, that he played with, Kevin Stefanski, play action, timing, get open, things like that. He's played in multiple different offenses, and he's legitimately been good every single time he's played in those offenses. It would be very seamless, in my opinion, transition to trade for Amari Cooper, and then the week after, you could count on him to be in the spot where he's supposed to be, because like Ryan said, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he's supposed to be, and he's studied the game inside and out. So yeah, that's why we always come back to it. Most likely it won't happen.
Probably not.
It probably won't. But it makes the most sense for the biggest quote unquote splash.
Addicted, thank you for your question. It ties in with Gary's now that Gary's back. Thank you, buddy, for your patience. Do you guys see them training for him and then bring up Remilio or Ross? I don't think so. I think it's one or the other. If you brought in somebody like that, you got to get him into the offense. You got to get him acclimated. You got to get him running routes with Xavier, with Justin, with Sky even. You got to get him in. So I don't know that you would elevate then on top of that. That would make it kind of tricky. I want to hit all of these all at once because KC has a pretty universal reaction to this. If I can select his comment, for some reason it didn't want me to. Hell no on Cooper because of the drops. I will just put it this way. He didn't have a terrible drop issue, a few occasional ones, maybe more than average, but he didn't have a drop issue with Dak. He didn't have a drop issue with Carr that I remember. It's a quarterback problem as much as it is Amari giving up on being in that team, in that town. And I do agree that there is an attitude thing there that kind of does bother me. Because at his age, in his profession, you got to deal with where you are. But I do think a lot of that forever is because of the quarterback that he plays with right now.
Just as an enforcement of that, Casey, I understand drops. Amari Cooper has 45% of the passes directed towards him qualify as off-target throws. If nearly half of every single pass that gets thrown your way is off target, guess what? You're going to have drops. That you just are. And it's unfortunate for him, and it's frustrating for him. But also, can you imagine being in that situation? Can you imagine being in a scenario where your quarterback is actively sabotaging your chances at winning and throwing you the football in multiple different ways that make no sense, and the coach just keeps trotting him out there saying, yeah, he gives us the best chance to win? How do you think that is for the mentality? How do you think that is for the morale? It's not good.
No, it's a tough one. I had not heard that stat before. Where did you find that?
It was.
Is that your super special?
That's from Mike Clay, who works at ESPN.
Oh, okay.
So he tweeted that out.
So he's got it all. That is impressive because I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
It's awful.
Holy crap!
It's real bad.
Normal average dude. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you.
Good looking hat, Dan. White on white.
I got this a few years ago. I'm big on white hats. I know they get dirty, but there's just a certain aesthetic with them, and the fact that this, the winged wheel here has got like some of the red piping. It's a beautiful hat, and I'm gonna try to keep it for as long as I can. And the Wings are my hockey team, so we do what we can here.
That's awesome, man. Tyler, is Rice trade bait? No.
Oh, no.
Especially in his current condition and for the next year with the suspension, he has no trade value whatsoever. A, they don't want to do it, and B, you couldn't do it because nobody would give you anything for him. Notorious, thank you again, buddy. Being that Justin is still on the practice squad, what is the issue with him not being brought up as another option? And it is, as I understand, as I've talked to everybody who's covered the team, and a couple of people around the team, it's just that he has not been able to get on the same page with the offense and with Pat in particular. You have to be able to read the defense in order to run option routes. And as the season goes along, it gets more complex and they get more mixed shells, man blitzes, zone blitzes. You have to be able to read the defense and be on the same page with the quarterback. And it's the mental aspect for Justin Ross that is not clicking. Even as far as the last time we saw him on the field, he was still asking Sky Moore where to line up. There's visual evidence of that. He just doesn't know it enough yet. But he has been improving. So I do like keeping him on the practice squad. Let him keep practicing it, and maybe eventually he can get there. I think that's the real reason that he's not being elevated, unless you know something I don't, Dan.
No, I don't. We've seen the problem. Like you said, we've seen it.
Okay. This one's for you. Maybe this is a dumb question. It is not. Appreciate you because we do like dumb questions. That is kind of a thing here lately, folks. So feel free to ask them. If Hollywood isn't available until later in the year, how does that affect Veach's desire to bring him back next year, Dan? What do you think?
I think that it should help. No matter what, it should help the number, because Veach has been very intentional at times with the way that he brings receivers into the offense, and we've seen investment go through draft and less expensive veteran leadership. Juju's back this year. Hollywood Brown was a 7-year, a $7 million contract. It was low cost. So it helps the number, in my opinion, and that should give him a bit more want to bring him back personally. And I think Hollywood wants to play here. He didn't get the chance to yet, and that would hopefully help them get something done to where he can come back next year, and then they can worry about that next year.
Yeah, that is definitely my hope as well. Every day that you're not earning here, you still have an opportunity to come back. And the league, I don't think, will be as aggressive unless he just sets the playoffs on fire. Which, there's pluses and minuses to that as well. I'm all for this three-peat. If you have to burn the tires off of Hollywood Brown, I can live with that. I don't know if he can, but I certainly can. So, hey. Let's do that. Sam, thank you, buddy. Jody Fortson in the red zone. It's perfect that you bring that up. I think that is a good option because you tied into Faithful's question perfectly. Is there a red zone threat on this team? And if so, are they using him? There is. His name's Travis Kelce, and he's quadruple teamed half the damn time. So, no, they are not using him to full effect. That's why you see them throwing him inside pitches and crap like that, because they're trying to find other ways to do that thwarts coverage. But I think Jody is a key to that. I think they've tried to use Noah a little bit more. And obviously, if you're farther out, not in the red zone, I think you can use the wide receivers. Right. I think Jody can help. And I'm glad that they got him a little bit of action. But I think they need to step that up. And Jody, again, is a guy. They brought him back for that same reason that we're talking about who can fit into the offense. It's because he knows it, because he's done it before, and he's got a rapport. That is the reason.
And they've done it, like you said, they've done it before. He's caught some red zone touchdown passes where they'll throw him some jump balls and some 50-50 opportunities. I would like to see them do that more. Just get him a little bit more acclimated into the red zone offense. And plus, if he's coming onto the field in the red zone, maybe the defense takes off somebody else. You know, they're like, oh, keying on Jody Fortson over there. Somebody else can get open because of it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we're going to wrap it up with info. Thank you, guys. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell. Say hi to everybody, including the mods. Gary and Stevie, say hello to everybody. Appreciate all of you that have supported us tonight. Do you think that Miami won't trade Hill to anyone because trading him would make them have to decide or signal what they were about to blow it up and move on from Tua and Mike McDaniels? I do not think that is the reason, although that would give you an idea. I think they're going to be stubbornly holding in to Tua, who I think is a middling quarterback. I do not think he elevates the players around him very much. Although you could make the argument that ain't nothing being elevated right now, so he's better than everything else that they got. Fair enough. But I think the reason they won't trade Hill... Sorry, go ahead. I think the reason they won't trade Hill is because they can't admit that they're going to give up. I think they don't want to give up, and they think that he is the guy that can lift them out of mediocrity. And I think they've spent so much money that they don't have another way out of it. Am I crazy?
No, I think that they've built this entire offense around Tua, and it's built on speed, built on timing. And if you don't have Tyreek Hill when Tua eventually comes back, because we saw that he will be playing again at some point this year, which is the expectation, guess what? You have Jalen Waddle and a bunch of guys that aren't very good. You have two receivers in that offense. And if Tua comes back to a Tyreek Hill-less offense, you are setting yourself up even for worse failure, because Tua is good at one thing. He's good at one thing. He is good at releasing the football before a wide receiver breaks anywhere into a zone. That's it. Can't beat man coverage. He cannot rip a throw, and he can't get outside and make something happen. Can't do it. So he has to win on timing and ball placement. That's what he has. That's all he has.
I'm with you. I completely agree, and thank you for the questions, you guys, especially info. And to Justin, you missed everything, buddy, because we're wrapping up. So
you
cheers. I hope you're having a good night.
You missed Gary getting banned.
Damn, you're going to bring it up again, huh? We had a little tech snafu tonight, Justin. It's been a roller coaster, just like this Jets Bills game. So everybody go enjoy that. Appreciate you. Bills are back on top. Down with Aaron Rodgers, I say, in his 38 yards passing. So go enjoy yourselves. Thank you for being with us. I'll have something for you tomorrow as I break down where they're going, what needs to happen. Dad's got film on Wednesday, Gary on Thursday. We're breaking it down and previewing our game plan on Friday. Be here for that as we get ready for the weekend. I hope that you guys have a great one, Dan. And I hope that your tech troubles go away and you settle down and are able to be happy.
Me too. I'd be very, very, very happy if my tech troubles would go away. Sorry once again, Gary, but thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Appreciate you all. Have a good night. We'll talk to you next time.